Hello, YTPC. This is Steve and Krista, and you're watching Smoking Cardboard.
Happy Halloween! Happy
Yeah.
spooky Halloween. We're so spooky. I'm a red panda, a recycled costume from Robin.
And I'm a completely normal person.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Halloween's never been my holiday, but it seems to be like the people's choice.
In the family or everybody?
I'm just saying in general. Like, kids get excited, adults get excited.
Yeah.
No one's getting off work for Halloween, but everybody loves the holiday.
It's fun. I love it.
Just not my thing. But again, I've never really been drawn to, like, horror or spooky stuff.
Yeah, but we don't do any of that, and it's still fun. I just think it's like the joy on the children's faces is what makes everything all worth it. You know,
Sure.
it's not like I'm going out and being like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna go get myself so scared because it's Halloween and that's what you do. It's just like, let's go and trick or treat with our kids and everybody's in a good mood and happy. Let's go
But if
get
we were in a
candy.
neighborhood where we didn't have kids and kids weren't really around much, would it be all that great of a holiday?
I can't even imagine a life like that. So
Yeah.
it is fun though. You had fun last year when we were all walking around,
Yeah,
all of our friends.
It's fun
and
to hang out with friends.
we
and,
have a drink or you smoke and walk around, just follow the kids.
You know, I don't know if I'll do the walking and smoking thing this year.
Yeah.
I'll try to still smoke my now tradition, because I've done it 2 years in a row or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
where I smoked Mac Baron Bold Kentucky on Thanksgiving. Not Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh.
Halloween.
My brain, is always working at half capacity. And the half capacity means it's just grabbing random words and inserting them.
No, you're fine. You're a perfectly functional adult.
My brain's like, everybody else knows what you're talking about, Steve.
Yeah.
Let's just insert a random word and see if they notice.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what are you smoking?
I'm smoking Amphora Kentucky in my Vaughn pipe that my son picked out for me to smoke today. Actually, he picked out 2 other pipes, and I said, no, not that one. No, not that one. Yes, this one's fine.
It's like when Sarah says, pick a color. Purple. No, not that one. Blue. Nope, never mind.
Yes. Pick a color. Yellow. That's horrible.
Bad choice.
Okay. No, the first one he picked was my rat trace pipe that I got from Mel Harris that I smoke aromatics, and I was like, I'm just not in an aromatic smoking mood right now. And then he picked my Bones Virtual Pipe Club of the Year last year pipe, and I was like, I smoked that one yesterday. So then he was like, okay, smoke this one. And I couldn't refuse. But
And I'm drinking the Belgian Golden Ale from California.
North Coast Brewing, I think is what it's called.
Prankster. That's the
Prankster
beer.
from North Coast.
The one we
Really
really
good.
like lately.
It's kind of pricey. They're like $2 a bottle. Beers, where most of the stuff it's kind of closer to like $1.25
Mm-hmm.
here, but it's really tasty for a Belgian ale. I haven't had a better one.
Really good. Just watched the Packers win.
Yeah.
Drank some beer. Sitting out now.
playing Washington.
Team Washington.
Team Washington. Yay.
Or is it Washington football team?
And I think I was reading a columnist and they said they should be called the Reds, the Red Shirts. I thought that was a good idea.
But that's already a football term.
Reds is, not Red Shirts.
Red shirt is what happens in college when you don't play your freshman year because they want you to play 4 years.
Yeah.
So
And
that
it's
might
also a
be
football
confusing.
team. So, yeah. I was going to talk about a weighty subject. You want to talk about a weighty subject?
We'll see.
Let's see. So, the thought is, do you put yourself in a position to be loved by others? Do you make it easy? How easy do you make it for others to love you? Or how difficult do you make it for someone to love you?
And are you talking about love as an action?
Opposed to...
Just like acting like an asshole so nobody can stand to be around you. Like love as in other people serving you and showing
Sure.
you
So
they love
initially, the thought came from the fact that people thrive when they're loved. People need support of others, and they need friendships and love from the people around them to be their best self. And in a lot of cases, I feel like we're good at sabotaging others from caring for ourselves. Maybe because of a host of different reasons. But I think a lot of times we think about how kind and caring we are to others rather than focusing on the kindness we're willing to receive ourselves, and how we know that some people are hard to love. And I guess the question is, do we make ourselves hard to love in certain ways? And we're not talking about to the people that you should make yourselves, distance from. That's a healthy thing, to be distanced from XYZ situations. We're talking about the people that you naturally should be loved by. The people that are trying to love you. What do you think? Because I make it hard to love me sometimes, right? Like, I'm a bad listener sometimes. And so not being present physically and mentally, can make it hard to love someone. Like, it feels like more work.
How can you love someone if they're not around physically or mentally?
Well, I mean, I'm there physically, but I'm not there mentally. Like, you're browsing your phone, or you're not open to... You're always killing any conversation that starts.
That would
by
be tough.
Just going, yep, okay, yep.
Are you describing me?
I think I was just wanting to mull around this idea of self-reflection, of how does one make themselves more easily lovable, or at least more able to be receiving the love that others are trying to give them. And so some of it is, well, how do people love each other and
receive love?
receive love. And we know there's a bunch of different ways, whether it's gifts, words of affirmation.
Because if that's something that you are talking about, then it's sort of a different thing. Asking people, are you open to other people's interpretation of love, and recognizing that? Or is it hard for you and you only want quality time, so when the person isn't there physically or emotionally, like, you just never get that? But it could be that they are, always doing the dishes for you, and that's their way of showing you they love you, and you're just not acknowledging it.
That can be part of it, yes. This idea that you need to receive the love that, in the way that I need to receive love in order to feel loved. So if someone's doing an action for me out of love, but I don't see it as such, I'm not receiving that love.
Mm-hmm.
So some of it is, yes, recognizing that different people, they doing this. So it's getting to know each other. Maybe that's a part of this, is how well do you know the people around you that are trying to love you?
Yes. I thought of one, yeah. And this also ties in with what we were talking about. Like, our church always has a clothing and shoe drive sort of thing for homeless students in our school district. And they give us a list of things that they need, and then people can take boots and shoes and whatever they choose to take to buy for the kids. And Steve's like, you should grab a whole bunch of those so that we can serve this ministry and, show them that we love them by giving them the things that they need. And I'm like, I don't want to grab too many because I want to give other people the opportunity to also serve and show this ministry that they care.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought of when we had foster kids, and we had them for like a year, and somebody sent me an email just out of the blue asking, what do you need? Do you need me to come and send you a meal, or do you need, some time away? And I just never respond to their emails because I'm like, I'm doing fine. I've been doing this for a year. I don't need anything. And so I just thought of that and how awful I feel that I denied them
the opportunity
to serve or love on us, as you want to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I could have even just said, like, that really means a lot to me that you would think of us and still care about us as we're going through this.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Yeah, so that's a good point of just leaving people empty-handed. So someone reaches out and tries to connect with you,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you're worried, maybe you just forget. So part of it's just
Or, I kind of have a complex with me having a million kids. I'm like, I have to have all my stuff together. I don't want anyone to think that I'm struggling.
For the fact checkers, we don't actually have a million.
It's a million
kids.
and two.
Yeah, well.
So I want to appear that I've got all my stuff together. Like, I don't need help. So I think that's also a pride issue.
We don't allow people to love us because we don't want to look weak.
Mm-hmm.
We might not allow people to love us because we don't think we're deserving of love. Maybe we have a self-loathing, like I have an issue where someone will say a compliment to me, but if I don't believe that compliment to be true myself, I'll kind of shield it off and just be like, you're just joking, because that can't be true.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a hard time receiving compliments for things that I don't think I'm deserving of the compliment, when in reality that's really just self, keeping myself down, kind of thing, because I don't believe I deserve better or something.
Yeah. I just want to put it out there that my love language is whiskey.
So as long as someone's giving you whiskey, you're happy.
I know that they love me.
You're good at receiving love through whiskey. There we go.
Oh, I don't give you whiskey because I know you don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer beer most of the time.
And I buy it for you.
I'm bad at sipping something. I'd rather take full gulps.
Mhm.
And whiskey, you don't last long if you do that. But I don't know. I had another thought. Now it went away.
I'm sorry.
And I think there's an element of shielding, protecting yourself from other people. So I don't want people to get to know me because they won't like who I really am. And so you shield off love in order to keep people far enough away that they can't really get to know you. So in order to truly receive love, like, you have to open up and be able to receive that. And that kind of feeds into that foster scenario you had. Like, I don't want to be open to explaining what the situation really is because I feel insecure in my ability to juggle all these things, but I don't want anybody to know that, even though they could help encourage me through my insecurities. Yeah. I don't know. Something to think about. Let us know what you guys think about receiving love. If you're good at receiving love from others.
Or showing people you love them.
Well, this was focusing on receiving it. I think that's a separate conversation of how you show love towards others. But I think this was more like the self-reflection of, well, do other people have a hard time loving me? Or are other people loving me and I'm not receiving any of that love?
Did you think of talking about this before you put that wig on?
Actually, the last time I wore this wig on this show, I had a serious conversation, and it was hard for anybody to have a conversation about the serious conversation because of my wig.
Because no one can take you seriously.
I know. So
That's
let's
what
get
I
to be the
thought.
serious conversation wig.
Yes.
Gotta talk about serious stuff with this wig on.
Always put a costume on when I'm having a serious conversation.
Well, I need the, like, extra frontal lobe brain to comprehend these thoughts. It helps. That's what you don't realize. Barb in The Simpsons, she's got a heck of a noggin. Marge. Gosh. There's my brain going, inserting random things again. And everybody will know what I'm talking about.
You were so
See?
confident.
Yeah, well. But it's definitely fall. The leaves are changing colors. Got some pretty trees. I would show them off, but
Lots of maples around here, so they're like bright orange and red.
yeah, I really like the red trees. We just finally got some freezing temps, and now all the trees are like, bye. Except for ours. Ours is like, nah, it's good.
Ours does not, Liz. It's a maple too.
There's like, I want to see Christmas.
I have a theory that all of our vegetation is behind, because our raspberries are, our lilacs are, and our maple.
Do you think it's just like we ooze and
we're procrastinators?
an ethos of like, hey, we sleep in, we take longer to get going, yeah, we're
Everybody
slow, and
just
all our
chill
plants are
out.
like, we know this is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, it gets into the soil.
Yeah, probably.
Mhm. Our pumpkins weren't green yet. I mean, orange yet. They were still green.
Yeah.
It's fine. We made him a Frankenstein pumpkin,
Yeah.
so he's green.
Yeah, because it's like, what is it? It's like October 20th?
24th.
24th? Oh my gosh, October is like almost over here. I sneakily ordered some more tobacco that came in this week from KB Ventures. I have to do it sneakily, otherwise I feel too much shame. Right, Krista?
I show you I love you by letting you order the tobacco. You're really
one
good
of
at
'em-
letting me love you that way, Steve.
See that? I provide the opportunity.
Absolutely.
But one of them you thought smelled really good.
Yeah, what was that? Was that an aromatic?
No. No, it's not aromatic. It's bionic something.
It was the most subtle smelling tobacco ever.
It was a pressed red Virginia, stove
It
plug.
was just so pleasant. Let's
It-
make a candle out of it.
It definitely had that vinegar smell that people talk about with McClellan's all the time, so I was curious about that. Definitely smelled it.
I do have a candle on the dining room table that's called Warm Tobacco Pipe. I
Yes.
found it at the store. What does it smell like? Not a pipe.
Yeah, I don't know. And then your sisters came over, and apparently you went into the darkest of the darks, our cellar in our house.
Yeah, I'd been cleaning out the storage room and they wanted to see it. And I was like, don't look over there.
To piles of tobacco. So then when I came home, they were like asking me questions, and I was having smoke. Krista gave me the evil eye. She said, "Don't keep talking about tobacco. No one cares. They're just being kind." And it made me realize that is so true. They were just being kind. So I promptly stopped talking.
Simple answers. Quick and easy.
Yeah. That's crazy. Try to explain the world of tobacco to people that don't even know it's a plant.
Usually on the weekends we've been going to breweries, and I was like, oh, we didn't go to a brewery this weekend. And then I was like, but you went to the tap house on Friday, and we are going to a brewery tonight.
Yes, we are. We're meeting some friends.
So we really do go.
Gonna play a board game. What game are we gonna play, Krista?
Rail Pass?
Ooh. You could try that. It's a game where you're working together, and it's just basically being the U.S. Postal Man, and you are trying to get these cubes to the right cities, and every person has a mat or two of
Stations. So there's 6 stations, and each of them is a color.
well, those stations represent cities, but yes.
Simple and easy.
And so you are putting these cubes on these trains, and it's a real-time game, so the game will last a variable number of minutes,
Like
depending
8
on how
to 10
many
minutes, yeah. It's
players
short.
you have. And you're putting the cubes on the train, and then you have to like hand it off to someone else, but you can't ever set it down just on the table, so you have to like physically hand them. So they have to be ready to receive the train, and then they might put some cubes off because it's their city, and then put other cubes on and keep trying to move. But not all the cities are connected to each other, so you have to connect it. So it's a little bit of a logistics engine. But you really like the organizing aspect of it, the order and the logical logistics, whatever
I
that
do.
is.
We played it quite a bit for a while. And I remember one night we took it to the brewery with us, and we had gone to one before that, and then we took it to the second one. And I was so bad at it. I was like, my reflexes are slowing down, and I'm getting worse and worse.
It's because it's a little bit more mind crunchy than it in certain positions, because certain positions you might be having like 3 people trying to trade trains with you all the time, and you're just kind of trying to keep stuff moving, but getting the right goods to go the right direction. And so
So you have a long night at the brewery. Play it first. Don't play it
or last if you want some giggles.
It would just be discouraging. Everybody would be like, I can't get this game. Like,
Mhm.
next time you can.
Rail pass.
What is that?
What? East.
It's really cloudy at the bottom there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Luke, I poured the whole beer in. Remember he told me not to. Or was that Evan? Sorry.
Yeah, it was
Sorry,
Evan.
Luke. Evan.
Yeah. Well, some of them they just say roll the beer so the yeast gets mixed in with the beer better,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't just have like clumps of it and then pour it. And others, it's kind of like just pour everything but the last little bit, and then either just toss that or just drink it separate, so
Mhm.
that the rest of your beer's clear. I don't know much about beer, but I can't go down that rabbit hole too. I know enough to know what I kind of like, and the place we
And
go
that's
into
good
is
enough.
an IPA sort of place, but they also make these really fruity.
I would say it's an experimental type of place.
Right, but experimental and IPAs, and then they go crazy with the dark porters, stouts, whatever. They're just like syrupy, sweet, and super strong. They're all like imperial.
They like to just make fun stuff. So they make like the smoothie beers where they just put tons of fruit into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like thick.
Technically sours or something.
Yeah,
so they're
technically
categorized,
sours.
but
And yesterday they did their Halloween party and they put out the Butterfinger beer, the double stuffed Oreo beer, the Skittles beer, and maybe one more.
yeah, and they really do taste like those candy
Taste like
bars.
candy,
They're so sweet.
But
so
you don't want to
can't-
drink a pint. That's
You can't
gross.
have more than like 2 ounces without.
But I
feeling
really
weird.
like the Skittles one. The Oreo one was bad. It was too sweet.
I don't know. I kind of liked it, but like I said, it's just gotta be 2 ounces. I
Get
mean,
the-
otherwise it's like eating a,
Mhm.
an, like a whole bag of Oreos. You're just gonna feel sick afterwards. But
What's it called when you get all the samples?
a flight,
The flight. You need to get the flight.
yeah. And I think that place has breweries are kind of interesting because the different places have way different prices on flights. Their beers might be similar prices to all the other breweries, but their flights, some of them they make them really expensive, and other ones make them really cheap. And I think that was one of the places that is like, whoa, getting the flight from them
Yeah.
is a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But them being experimental, it kind of makes sense because it gets people to try stuff they wouldn't try otherwise.
Our city put out a brew pass. So, like, if you check in at all of the breweries and get a secret code from the bartender, then maybe you could win a prize. And I've never been so motivated in my life. Like, we are going to get to all of these breweries so that maybe I can win a prize.
Yeah,
It's my kind of contest.
we're knocking one of them off tonight.
Exactly.
I've been there since the thing started, but I forgot to ask for the number and to punch it in.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, I hope everyone's having an awesome fall, enjoying the fall weather. You have to show us your Halloween costumes.
I'm really wearing this on Halloween. I'm going to stay warm. Are you going to wear that?
I could try if it's not too windy. If it gets real windy, man, this thing is a hazard.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I don't know. Last year, the whole decision about do you stay at your house to hand out candy, or do you just put a bowl in front of your house and then just go out and enjoy walking around the neighborhood, knowing that there's going to be probably going to be some stupid kid that just dumps the whole bowl into their thing, and now it looks like there's no candy for anybody else. It's real dilemmas.
It is. I used to like to hand out all the candy so that I could see the kids and see their parents and all the costumes and, be a part of the neighborhood. But walking around with everybody is also being part of the neighborhood, and it's fun. Everybody's having a good time.
You know, more you got to do where you got something so big that someone can't steal them all. You just have tons of bags of chips.
Boxes of cereal.
Boxes of cereal. Excellent boxes of cereal.
Just go to the food pantry, stock up for Halloween.
We've been going through the Amazing Race series. So, I've always liked the show, but I haven't really watched very many seasons. So, we were kind of searching for something to watch, and I was like, hey, let's just watch it. It's nice because the kids can be around when you're watching it without it being inappropriate.
Yeah, we talked about that last time.
Oh, it did? Well, we're still on it. What season are we on?
I don't remember.
I think we're on like
We passed
7.
the one with families. People brought their kids. It was
Maybe
wild.
we're on 8. We're on 7 or 8 or something. And there's like 21 now or 22 or something. We're making some headway. But they're always very entertaining.
We finished Peaky Blinders, all the episodes that are out anyway.
Yeah.
That was wild too.
Yeah. I think it took some nudging to get back into it, but the last season that's been out is really good.
Where did you hear about that movie, that World War II movie that we watched? Did someone in the YTPC recommend that?
Which one?
A really old one that followed that kid.
No.
Was that Reddit?
Yeah, I think that's Reddit. It was called what is it?
I can't remember either, so it's okay.
And then we just watched Thin Red Line. We apparently so we were watching it and we were like starting it at like 10 o'clock and the movie's like 3 hours, so we're like, we're not gonna watch this whole thing. And luckily it was on Hulu, which we had. And
we couldn't ever remember watching it.
I couldn't remember watching it, and then I'd be like, oh, I think I've seen this. I don't know if I've seen this. And then the next day you were cleaning out that storage room, and we actually had the DVD.
We own it.
I was like, I definitely watched this once. Man, I couldn't remember a lot of it.
Oh, yeah, that was a tough one.
It was it was a good movie.
It was very poetic, all of the poetry.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty anti-war, so it kind of came from that aspect where it wasn't trying to like idolize the war or any of that sort of stuff, which is fine.
I appreciate it.
But there was aspects of it that were a little bit more artsy, where you're trying to understand what they were trying to communicate by what they were showing in their film. So, interesting. Yeah, I always thought The Thin Red Line was the Enemy at the Gate or whatever, that film. We need to watch that one again.
And I always thought it was the Mel Gibson movie, We Were Soldiers. I don't want to watch that one again. It's too sad.
Oh, that's such a good movie, though. I watched that, I don't know, a number of times. I'm trying to do that thing where we rewatch the movies we enjoy.
Yeah, if you guys are looking for a good movie, Wind River is on Netflix right now. Go watch it.
Yeah, guess we'll have to rewatch that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, should we let these people go on?
They chose to be here.
I don't know why.
So that's a quote from The Wedding Singer, and I have the microphone, so you will listen to everything that I have to say.
Oh don't know. I've seen that.
You have not seen The Wedding Singer. It's
No.
a crime.
There's a lot of
Step
movies I
Brothers.
haven't seen. We watched Step Brothers.
That's also on Netflix right now.
I hadn't seen that movie before.
What do you think of it? Pretty great. John C. Reilly was both in The Thin Red Line and Step Brothers.
Yeah.
The range.
I don't know. It was fine. I wouldn't recommend it to people. I think I like this man, what's his name? Will Ferrell in that NASCAR one better.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights. I thought that one was more funny.
That was great.
But this one was.
John C. Reilly was in that too.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. But I haven't seen that Talladega Nights since it came out or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not much for rewatching films in general, but except for some really good ones. Some I've seen a lot, but it's hard remembering all the movies you like. I wish you could go down and make a list as you watched them. Hey, this was a really good movie, because you forget about them all.
Hey, you document all your tobaccos. You could document all your movies.
I know.
Starting 2022.
I still am trying to document all my smokes. Need to redocument kind of cellar. I move so much stuff around now that I think my stuff's all wrong, because I don't know. Some of it's right, but some of it's just kind of like, who cares?
Are you liking the cigars you got?
Well, I tried 2 of them. Did I try 2 of them? Yes. And they're nice. They're not like the metallic taste that I got from one that I had, or in the pipe blends when I smoked them. But at the same time, man, I would much rather be smoking a pipe most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The flavors are not like that. They sometimes have a flavor that kind of makes you go, oh, I feel kind of nauseous almost. Not like really being nauseous, but that whole, I don't know. I have several foods that if I feel like, oh man, if I ate this too much, I'm just going to feel sick. Just from the flavor. And the flavor in the cigar is kind of like that sometimes. But they kind of change flavor as you smoke them through. But I need to try the other ones. I just figure there's no real rush, because they're so expensive, relatively, to these pipe tobacco. So
Until we have our cigar and whiskey party.
yeah, out of the blue, she's like, I'm going to have a cigar and whiskey party. I was like, you want to smoke a cigar? No. Well, then why are you having a cigar and whiskey? She's probably going to have just a whiskey party. Maybe. She can find some friends that want to be loved on with whiskey, too.
I was like, this person's husband likes whiskey, and this person's husband likes whiskey. It'll be me and the dudes. And
You
then
have one lady
You
friend.
can bring out some cigars for people to try. Not me, but other people.
Yeah, mate, I don't need that. No.
That'd be cute.
Yeah.
Last weekend was still nice enough where we just sat outside in our neighbor's backyard and played cards. Not this weekend.
No, it's much colder. We're in the 40s. Gotta stomp around. Setting up a deer stand. Well, it's already set up. So, all we were really doing was finding all the deer trails and kind of marking them so you can see them from the stand and clearing shots. So, even smack that big buck with a load of lead. Pump them full of lead. I don't know. I'm not a real big hunter. I wouldn't mind sitting out in the forest by myself, especially when I can smoke a pipe now.
Wouldn't that let the deer know that you're around?
In theory. But the other year I smoked a pipe and hunted, and I shot a fine specimen, so...
They can smell.
I don't really
deer
care if I
urine.
shoot a deer or not.
They can smell pipe tobacco.
There's so many, and they're all moving around because everyone's shooting at them and walking around the forest. That little pipe tobacco is the least of their concerns. But yeah, you get familiar with the squirrels that are around your tree stands. 'Cause that's all that chirping. Well, we better go. 'Cause
Hey guys.
the kids' friends want to come by.
Kids are trying to come to our house. It's not Halloween
Bye.
yet. Go away.
Where's it from?